Well, that's the 405 game. Let's move on to the 425 games. We got a couple of them here. We're going to start with Colts Browns. An easy win for us backing the Browns this past week. Would have loved to have had the balls to take them money line, which I sadly did not. Total opens up at 47. That's where it is right now. One book's moved it to 46.5. Colts open up at -1. They're now -1.5. This is a very interesting game with two contrasting styles. Colts have the number one ranked defense in the league, sitting 3-1. That strange loss against the Jags in week 1. They bring in DeForest Buckner and Xavier Rhodes, two vets that come in and just really help, in enormous ways. Rivers is playing simple, and he's not risking too much. 16 of 29 for 190 yards, 1 TD, 0 picks. Jonathan Taylor, 17 runs for 68 yards. He's not being great, but he's a young guy who's able to keep pounding the ball and doesn't seem to get tired and doesn't seem to break down. I know it's very early in his career, but having a 21-year-old running back, I think is a good thing. You can give him the rock over and over and over again. T.Y. Hilton, Bebsy, what his grandma says, you don't look like yourself, and nothing has changed. 3 catches for 29 yards. Zach Pascal led the Colts in receiving. And no Darius Leonard, leaves with a groin injury in the second half of that game, so he's questionable. And he's needed. Mayfield, 2 touchdowns. Garrett, strip sack for the 3rd straight game. The Browns ran for 307 yards and 3 TDs despite losing Nick Chubb. It's crazy what they did to the Cowboys. And as we said, they're getting healthier. Still missing Greedy Williams. Well, Greedy Williams, Claiborne, Tay Davis, and Larry Ogunjobi are all questionable this week. But two contrasting styles, a very difficult game to cap. And I'm more interested in handling the total at 47, really, than I am a side at this point. I can't wait to hear your breakdown. One of the most interesting games of the week, Colts-Browns.
Well, this game is getting more interesting because the line is moving in favor of Cleveland because money's coming in on Cleveland, and I personally think it should right now. I agree with what Bertie just said. It's a horrible spot for the Browns. They just won this big game, this big emotional game in Dallas. Bit of a letdown, but both of these teams are very interesting in that they're the two teams that I have said need to rely on their running game and let their quarterback just not screw up. Now, the Browns took a huge hit to their running game when Chubb went down, but they were still doing great without him. So the Cleveland's offensive line is obviously, and their scheme is obviously a very important part of this. To me, this is a really difficult play because with Leonard out, I want to lean towards Cleveland, but with Cleveland coming off that big win, I want to lean towards Indy. If this was a pick, I might have just as difficult a time. So I don't know. I don't know what the play is here. It feels like they figured out that Rivers is old and terrible, and all they have to do is get him to manage. But this is a difficult play here. On one hand, the Browns are at home. On the other hand, the T.Y. Hilton's playing like garbage. So this is a really difficult call for me.
I think that public is going to keep pounding the Browns, and the Colts are just going to become more and more appealing as this week moves on. So
it's hard to take with Leonard out and Malik Hooker out. That very talented Colts defense takes a big hit.
Yeah.
So the Leonard factor is huge. And I do think with Cleveland, like you saw Ward come in and he didn't play exceptional, but he sealed the game on that pick. So like these playmakers, whether they're a major impact through the whole game or not, that's what you count on in the crunch time, these guys to make big plays. So with Leonard out, it's hard to back them because he's such an important piece, and he is one of those guys who makes plays all game. He is special all game long. And Myles Garrett, he's playing out of his mind right now. I want to back a Myles Garrett team because that guy's playing sensational. He's playing Defensive Player of the Year football, through the first 4 weeks. So this is a hard play. And Randy Brand is saying, how can you ever trust Mayfield? Well, I feel the exact same way about Rivers. I don't trust either one of them. That's the problem. There's things I love and hate about both of these teams. There's things I love and hate about both of these team situations. So this is a very difficult spot. I admire anybody who's got the balls to make a hard line choice on this game.
Yeah, agreed. That total I find appealing of 47 towards the under because I think the Colts will dictate the style of play even without Darius Leonard, that the Browns will realize this Colts team's not taking chances, and we don't have to either. We just need to move the ball. 47 might be too many points. What do you think of the total?
Yeah, I'm kind of leaning in your direction here. I do think it could be too many points just because exactly what I just said about both of these quarterbacks. This could be a control game where you just look at two teams that try and run the ball and not make mistakes. Could be a war of attrition on Sunday between these two guys.
And again, we do the weather forecast on Sunday and not Tuesday just because it changes. Like if I had given you the weather on Tuesday for the Buccaneers game, it was showers for the whole game, and it was a beautiful day where offense took over. But the weather is generally beautiful.
Tuesday's way too early to care about weather.
But the weather looks really nice in these spots and low wind and really nice. Alrighty, no move, Colts, Browns.